Durable goods orders on a headline basis hasn't crossed yet, but ex-transportation up 0.5%. The capital goods orders, non-defense ex-air, what we call core durables, up 1.7% after falling 1.5% last month. So this is good news. Businesses still spending. We will have to see what the breakdown is there. Here's jobless claims. They fall to 236,000 from 246,000 last week. There were a lot of people who thought this may be a seasonal adjustment problem that pushed claims up in recent weeks because school was ending, and maybe that's partly the case here, because we do see a fall of 10,000. Certainly doesn't suggest that the economy is falling back. The advanced goods trade balance comes in much bigger than expected, $96.6 billion. The forecast was for $86 billion. Imports were flat on the month after falling 20% last month. So that's an interesting number. We maybe got some rebounds in orders after the president put a lot of the tariffs on pause. And finally, GDP, this is the third reading. It comes in at negative 0.5%, which is significantly worse than what we had seen in the second reading, which was a 0.2 decline. Personal consumption was only 0.5%. It had been initially reported as 1.2%. So it's going to be interesting to take that apart and see what exactly is going on with the GDP numbers, although even they are about 2.5 months old now.
Mike, can I just ask you just to compare and contrast what's happening with initial jobless claims and what's happening with continuing claims, the two stories, the two pictures maybe you could paint looking at those two data points at the moment?
Well, continuing claims have been interesting because they have moved up and down, and the trend should be, we thought, that maybe people were having a harder time getting a job, and that comes out in today's numbers. We go from 1,937,000 to 1,974,000 in continuing claims. Continuing claims would give you the idea that companies are not hiring at this point, which is pretty much the narrative that we've gotten. Jobless claims, though, the initial jobless claims are suggesting that companies aren't firing people either. So everybody's still sitting on their hands, waiting for tariffs, waiting to see what the Fed's going to do, waiting overall for some indication on the economy.